Umagyantamanandasya Guranjana Sarakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness and ignorance, but Srila Prabhupada has forced my eyes open with the torchlight of knowledge. Therefore, I offer my most humble obeisances under his lotus feet. Certainly, myself and all of us would be completely lost without him. So I joined the Namhata party in 1973. I wanted to join the party for a long time. I was really attracted by the kind of energy Guru Kripa Swami and Yasodhananda Swami had. My temple president flatly refused, and I spent about 6 months searching my heart because I felt I could increase my service to Prabhupada. That would please Prabhupada. But there was some ulterior motivation. It could hold me back in my spiritual progress. So I was asking, Jayananda was in San Francisco at the time, Nalini Kanta, other older God brothers and I really felt that, I'm actually, that Prabhupada wants me to do this. So to actually come, I had to get kicked out of the temple. That's a whole story, I won't go into that. But in Japan, it was an amazing service, an amazing adventure. And Prabhupada, wanted these temples built at these important holy places because he knew it would add a lot of legitimacy to the movement. He didn't really know where the money was going to come from. It was early in the movement. And so Guru Kripa Swami told Prabhupada, he said, Prabhupada, I will find you the money. He himself had no idea how he was going to do it. Anyway, he discovered through another God brother, Gopal Swami at the time, that Japan might be a good place to raise funds. And so he went and checked it out and eventually got a party, kind of a ragtag party of devotees together, because Prabhupada told the temples this is a very important service and you should give some men. But no temple president wanted to give any of their good men. So some of the devotees were, a couple of maybe just about to get kicked out of the temple because of certain qualities. Anyway, we were kind of a ragtag group, but we went to Japan and we had tourist visas. We couldn't get missionary visas. I remember we invited immigration to come to our house and we treated them really nice and everything. But once they knew we were collecting on a tourist visa, donations on the street, they refused to give us missionary visas. So part of the pastime in Japan is we were always running from the police. And here we were on the street, foreigners. We learned a few lines of Japanese, and we had these magazines, small magazines, with the story of Prahlad Maharaj in there. On the front cover, a picture of Guru Kripa's Gornitai deities. On the back cover, a picture of a really hungry kid in Mayapur, Prasadam Pavilion with a handful of kitri putting in his mouth. And we would just go out on the street and beg donations. And Japanese people, of course, like to bow a lot. We would just bow them to death. We would keep bowing until they gave us what we wanted. And they were so charitable, and Krishna was so merciful. And by Krishna's grace, we were able to collect literally millions of dollars. We've heard many devotees all over the world. All the devotees, in fact, on book distribution, a percentage was going to Japan, but most of the money was coming from our party. And the most incredible part of that experience, I was with the party 3 years, and we got to go to Mayapur Vrindavan Festival every single year and sit. And I remember, for some reason, I was mostly in Mayapur. I was also in Vrindavan, but my memories are more specifically in Mayapur. We would sit at Srila Prabhupada's lotus feet every day and hear him give Srimad Bhagavatam class. And then we would stay there. Prabhupada would finish his class, and then we would have his Guru Puja right there. And then when Guru Puja was, we finished the prayer, the kirtan would be going on. Prabhupada would stand up and start walking down the Vyasasan. And we would race, in Mayapur, in the temple room, it's still there, one bell on one side, one bell on the other. And we would race as young kids as fast as we get to the other end of the temple room to see who could grab the rope of the bell first. And on the way, it'd be a tumultuous kirtan. You can just imagine, Prabhupada's there with the devotees. We're all jumping like monkeys, seeing who can jump higher and higher. Prabhupada's encouraging us more and more. And then the first devotee to get to the bell would grab the rope and wait. And Prabhupada would come. Prabhupada would come up, and he wouldn't grab the rope. He would grab the devotee's hand. The devotees would pull their hand out. Prabhupada would grab the rope, and then beat the bell to the kirtan. And then in 1976, we came early to the festival in Mayapur. We were about 3-4 months early. We had to get back to Japan early, quick, I guess. And Jai Pataka came into Guru Kripa's room as soon as we got there. He said, I have an emergency. He said, I need a temple commander. Something had happened with the temple commander. I don't remember what it was. Guru Kripa immediately pointed to me. He said, Banabhatta is your man. And the incredible experience of that was, these temples in Mayapur and Vrindavan were the showcase for the whole movement. And we were pretty rough around the edges back then. And Prabhupada knew that because he was already so criticized, nobody could believe what Prabhupada was going to be able to do and convert all these millennials into devotees. And, they were very, very critical. So Prabhupada was, had his finger on the pulse of every single thing that was happening in Mayapur at the time. Of course, Ganardava knows, Vrindavan as well. And the result of that was I had an open door policy with Prabhupada, and I could go into this room whenever I wanted. I was extremely shy at that time and would rather die than try to bother problem with some problem I had. But we were finishing the rooms on the wall, on the perimeter wall, and there were more devotees that came in 1976 to the festival than ever before. You've heard stories about how devotees chartered 747 jets to come. And we didn't know where the devotees were going to stay, and we were way behind schedule for finishing these rooms. So there were devotees who were starting to come early for the festival. So I asked all the devotees who came early if they could even spend an hour a day helping with construction. And I remember there was this one devotee, he happened to be black body, but very strong devotee from America. And he came, he would take breakfast. He refused to do any active service. He would go into the banana patch and just chant all day. So I was really in the mode of passion back then. And I couldn't take it. I went to Prabhupada's room. I offered my obeisances. And I looked up, and Prabhupada was, so the room was, like this was, let's say this was the entrance to his room. His desk was there on the other side, and Prabhupada had was turned towards the corner of the room, as he would often do with his leg up and his arm over his knee, chanting japa with his head up in that perfect Paramahamsa posture, just chanting softly. So as he came in, offered my dandavats, I looked up and I was like, oh my God, I'm really bothering Srila Prabhupada. I should not even be here. If I could have, I just would have ran out again. But I was already there. And Prabhupada didn't even acknowledge me. He just kept chanting. Finally, he stopped his chanting. It seemed like an eternity. Prabhupada turned he didn't turn completely towards me. He just cocked his head. Another sign that I was really bothering him, that he was really absorbed. And he looks at me and says, yes? And I said, well, Srila Prabhupada, the thing is, yes, Prabhupada, and I explained to him that it's the beginning, before the festival started, we're behind schedule in the rooms, we don't know if we're going to be able to finish. And we have not enough rooms for devotees to stay if we can't finish. So I'm asking every devotee who comes early if they can do even just 1 hour of service, and it's not too much to ask, but there's this one devotee from America, very strong-bodied devotee. He won't do any service. He just sits in the banana patch and he just chants Hare Krishna all day. So Prabhupada heard what he said and he went back to his chanting. And it seemed like another eternity. And I'm sure he was giving me a chance to think about in my very passionate mode what I was just saying to him. Finally, Prabhupada stops. He looks back at him and he goes, so, you think chanting Hare Krishna is not service? He says, that is the greatest service. And Prabhupada's, you've seen those pictures where Prabhupada's eyes gets really big and rolls. So it's like that. And immediately my false ego went from like this to like this. I was like, Jai Srila Prabhupada, offered my obeisances and got the most incredible instruction I've ever gotten in my entire life, which I'm still trying to fulfill. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.